Hi, Doug Peacock here. How you going? Hey, I thought I'd share with you some more strategies on how to release the tension that the anger and things cause that we talked about last week in my last blog. You know, on the weekend I went down to a friend's wedding, and it was such a beautiful time. And while I was down there, we were staying with this friend who had was very, fairly clairvoyant in that, and very energy perceptive, and was great at, reading things. So I asked her for a reading of cards. I thought, hey, why not? I don't do it very often, and just what's going on? So anyway, she gets the cards down, and I just got the three cards, past, present, and future. And the past one that we were looking at when it all started was, around release and surrender. And one of the things that happened is when we started doing the reading, my guides come in, and the energy comes in, and I see beings all the time, so it's not unusual. And the guides came in, and a lot of beings began to come in. And then Terry-Ann said to me, who's the guy in the white robes? And I says, oh, not sure, because I couldn't see him at that. I mean, I could feel the presence, but I couldn't see him. And she goes, yeah, he's got white robes on. It sort of looks like the guy Snow out of Game of Thrones. And I went, oh, okay. And sort of thinking and looking at it, going, oh, really? And basically I says, oh, usually it's Saint Germain that comes in when I'm getting information. And I says, oh, it could be Saint Germain, but then it could be Hilarion or Gabriel, or and then as I started going off down a tangent, I just got this whack over the back of the head, energetically whack. This energy just went bang on the back of my head, and I was like, oh no, that's Saint Germain for sure. He's the only one that belts me around like that because I'm not paying attention. And anyway, so there I was, and then she goes, oh, okay, so he's basically come in and he's going to share some insights into release and surrender. And with this, well, I thought this would be of some use, and something that you may be able to use is what he said is, when you go back into your past, you go back into the past problem or program or something that irritates you, or a reason why you're getting stuck, or a reason why you're not taking action, or a reason why your health's a certain way, or a reason why the relationship is doing the certain dance. He said to me, you're doing great with your surrender and release. I went, yeah, you probably say that to everybody. But anyway, move on. And I went, but what he says is, where you're getting caught. And he says, what's going on is you go down, and it's like you got your issue, you got your problem, the thing that grates your butt, that annoys the shit out of you, and you go, ah, crap. And what happens is, neurologically, your pathways are wired in a certain way, and you think about it, and some issue comes up, and you just automatically run down, and it goes, and it's like you just go down the pathway and you veer right. You're going down the motorway, and you just take the off ramp. And what he said is, you're only seeing that perspective. You're only seeing that part of that situation. It's like you're seeing one side of the coin. And what you need to do, and this is where you look at your anger or what's going on for you, is you need to look at the other side. And this is something that I do in the healing services I provide, and help people and help them get massive changes and get rid of tumors and all that sort of stuff, is I'm able to take them into the other form of the track, because most people will run a path and they veer off to see it in a certain way. But what he suggested to me is to go down to the left and see it from a place of wholeness. You don't go down and try and see all the good or whatever, the thing is, see it wholeness, disassociate, disconnect from it needing to be a certain way, see it how it was, and then see the wholeness of the whole situation, the grander vision, so to speak. And when I was able to do that, because I had to practice doing it, and everything just collapsed. All the energy that had been held there, and the neurological pathways begin to release, and you're able to then run new pathways. And so I said, okay, well, what do you mean by that? So how do I give me a thing that I need to work on? So what's one that I can work on? And it says, okay, and it came up. It said was when I was I had a memory of, just flashed into my mind, of when I was a young fella, about 10 years old, Dad had a kiwi fruit orchard. We had a kiwi fruit orchard, and we used to grow tomatoes on a part of the orchard so that for the summer harvest. And so we used to have to pick these bloody tomatoes, and I mean bloody tomatoes. I'm not talking, 1 or 2 vines. I'm talking, you're talking about 5 acres of the bloody things. Great fun when you're 10 years old. You've got to get up in the morning before school and go pick tomatoes. Love it. And so it didn't really have a good memory for me. And so what I kept associating was work or being told to do something, is you had to get up and do that. And I could only ever remember the memories in my mind of the tomatoes having to do a certain thing. And it really used to piss me off. And so what I got to do, what he says, now pull back and allow yourself to see the grander picture of what everything else that went on. And you could see how the family was benefiting, and you could see all the good things. And the biggest thing that I was told, that he told me, was don't try and use all your tools on it. All you do is be in the space of gratitude and observation and looking at the grander picture. Yes, you've got the main problem thing here that you always kept harping on about, but look at the grander picture. And don't try and NLP it. Don't try and do any of your processes and things like that. Just be with it. And in the being with it, what I noticed is that began to let go, the part where I used to get annoyed, and the other part began to come up, so you could see the finer workings, or you could experience the finer workings of what was going on. Because I'm very visual and I'm very kinesthetic, so the energy in that, and I'm very hypersensitive for energy. So for me, it worked really well. What I'm sharing this with you is, yes, you may not see like me, and you may not be as hypersensitive as what I am, but what happens is, by going to the place of the grander vision and looking down on it, you allow yourself to let go of the cording and the emotions that have been holding you in that pattern. And doing that, the neurological pathways begin to let go. They begin to unravel, and they stop firing and firing. And that trunk, that strong cable, so to speak, that you had attached to that, begins to unravel. And it is in seeing the wholeness, all of a sudden it doesn't just grab onto that point of view. And when you do that, oh man, it was just yumbo place. I just felt this release of energy and peace come over me. And the dude, the central manager goes, "See, dude, not that hard." And didn't really talk like that, but hey, that's me. But and that's what it was. And so I went and did a couple of others, just little things. They didn't have to be big gnarly things, but I looked at other programs, and you think back into your imprint period and as a child or whatever, and things that always catch you, and you've done all your forgiveness, you've released it, you've asked for peace onto it, you've forgiven them, forgiven yourself, and blah blah, and it still catches you a little. Just do this. Really simple. And the thing about it, it was done with so much love. The love that came through with it and the strength that came through with it was just amazing. So, hey, give it a go. What do you got to lose? And let us know how you get on. Again, my name's Doug Peacock. Take care.